can't see me, you Stevie. Wondering how I reach more evolutions than Evie and make it look easy.
What is up, Earth's mightiest subscribers? It's Blerd without fear. Welcome back to the channel. All right, today's video, we're gonna be talking about Superman #2 by Joshua Williamson and Jamal Campbell. Last time we left off with Superman, we saw that he was being almost nearly run roughshod by Parasite, a character who he has had a long, nearly 40-year history with, and Parasite seemingly gotten a huge upgrade, one that initially, while it was thought that it came from Lex Luthor, it actually came from two new villains in Metropolis who just so happened to actually be old villains of Lex Luthor. Back during the time when Lex Luthor first came to Metropolis, before Superman ever took up the mantle of the protector of Metropolis. That said, Parasite, whose powers normally allow him to drain the energy from any source that he touches, whether it's some kind of a mechanism that is powered by energy or electricity of some sort, or even living people, including Superman, his powers have taken a huge upgrade. And in that upgrade, it seemed like one of the things that he got was the ability to clone himself. When Superman punched him roughly a few miles away from himself in order to put some distance between the two so that Parasite would no longer be able to drain him of his Kryptonian energy, Parasite seemingly multiplied several times. I thought maybe this was one of those deals where, oh, well, now the deal is if you hit Parasite in any way, shape, form, or fashion, he multiplies himself. That's not the case. What's actually happening here is that Parasite is able to turn other people who he has drained of energy into more parasites. Not only is he transforming random and sundry people into parasite clones of himself, he's also slowly creating a Walking Dead situation where not only have the people of Metropolis been slowly turning to the point where John Kent and Kal-El are having to create an ice wall around Metropolis to keep them from escaping into the rest of the world, we also learn that Superman's wife, Lois Lane, and of course, his old pal Jimmy Olsen, as well as the rest of the Daily Planet staff, have all been turned into parasites as well. It also seems that the parasite strain that makes Rudy Jones the monstrous villain that he is also seemingly in the air, as Superman states at the end of this issue, when he himself has also been transformed into a parasite. The fact that Parasite can turn Superman, not just everyone else in the world, but just Superman, into a parasite version of himself, that's a big deal. That is the biggest buff we have seen Parasite get in his almost 40-year history. And it's all thanks to the characters of Graft and Dr. Farm, which these villains, who were originally villains of Lex Luthor's back in the day, they have been experimenting on Parasite. They've also been experimenting with Bizarro, and we will very likely see the fruits of that coming up here very soon. But we know right now they have huge plans to try and take back Metropolis in the wake of Lex Luthor being arrested and sentenced to Stryker's Island back in Action Comics 1050. Whatever it is that's going on with their plan, it doesn't seem like the rest of the people working with them are really into what's going on here. They know that Superman is a huge threat and that if Lex Luthor could take them down, but yet could never take down Superman permanently, then what chance would they stand of taking down Superman themselves? And honestly, that's a very smart question. I've been asking myself the same thing ever since these new characters were introduced, but it seems like they do have some modicum of ability to think in some ways that Lex Luthor doesn't. As a matter of fact, Lex Luthor even says in this issue that he's mad that he didn't think of the upgrades that Parasite had gotten sooner. Either way, Superman's in a rough spot because right now, Lex Luthor's in Stryker's Island. You've just been coaching him this entire time and chastising him for not coming to his aid and not listening to him when he's trying to give him advice on how to tackle these problems. And while Superman feels that he has no need of Lex Luthor's advice, it seems like this might be the one situation where he does actually need Lex Luthor's help, because Lex is very familiar with these people. He knows how they operate. He took them down himself before, and now Superman is dealing with them, and he's behind the 8 ball in this one because he doesn't know who these people are. He doesn't have all the facts. He doesn't really know anything about what's going on here. He has no clue who he's up against. He's up against one of his oldest foes, and yet he's struggling with him right now. So yeah, I think it's safe to say that I think we are going to see Superman finally relent and start listening to Lex Luthor. I don't think he's going to bust him out of Stryker's Island, though. I think he's going to leave him where he is. But I feel like Lex, if he really wants to get out of Stryker's, he will figure out a way to do it because it's not like he hasn't done it before. But that's not really the only thing going on right now with this issue of Superman. We've also been introduced to a new character by the name of Marilyn Moonlight. Marilyn Moonlight, when she was first introduced in the solicits for this Superman series, a lot of people had different takes on her. Some people said that, oh, she's gonna be a new anti-hero, or that she's just gonna be a straight up hero. And I've even seen some people say that she's going to be to Superman what Catwoman is to Batman. And while that, I think, remains to be seen, she definitely is a character who I won't necessarily say is as morally ambiguous as Catwoman. She seems to see herself as the hero of Metropolis, and what is very interesting about her, and this is something that you find out from the solicits, is that she only operates at night. Like, it's implied that her power is only active during nighttime hours, and while we don't really know fully exactly what she can do, she seems capable of creating moonlight even where there isn't any. The entire city of Metropolis is blacked out, but the only light in existence right now is coming from her. She seems to be superhumanly fast, and it's even implied that she may even be able to fly, and while some of her other powers are debatable, she also seems to be strapped with a couple of Moonlight pistols. Pistols seemingly capable of almost catching Superman off guard. Now granted, we do have to take into account his power has been significantly drained. He's pretty weak at this point. He's not even really able to fly for long stretches of time. Even when we see earlier when he escapes from Parasite, he doesn't necessarily completely fly away. It's almost back to the original days of the Action comic Superman, where he didn't necessarily so much fly as he would leap tall buildings in a single bound, and even in this case, he's not leaping them in a single bound, so there's very likely something to do with that there as well. But what I do find interesting here is that she has a pair of twin revolvers made of moonlight that seemingly shoot charged moonlight bullets. She also seems capable of creating her own spectral moonlight horse. Her moonlight is also so powerful, bright enough, it actually charges Superman. Now, under normal circumstances, Superman gains his energy from Earth's yellow sun, and while in the past, it has been implied he could potentially take energy sources from just about any source of light, the moon just doesn't really have enough light to really charge Superman on the same level. But Marilyn Moonlight's powers allow her, the light that she gives off is more than enough to charge Superman back up to his normal levels. So that is a huge deal. That lets you know right there, her power is pretty significant. She's also seemingly capable of giving people flashbacks. It is really implied that she was someone who originally protected Metropolis. When she gives Superman a recharge, he starts having flashbacks to the old Wild Wild West. Maybe the power that she possesses, maybe it's something that's passed down. Maybe something similar to what we've seen with characters like the Crimson Avenger, which is a mantle, a spirit of vengeance style character that's passed down throughout the years. Maybe that it was something along those lines, but for me personally, what she actually reminds me of is something from over on the Marvel Comics side. If you're familiar with the Ghost Rider character, there was actually a Ghost Rider before Johnny Blaze, a guy by the name of Carter Slade. The original Ghost Rider that debuted in Ghost Rider #1 in 1966, though over the years he switched from being the Ghost Rider to being the Phantom Rider, and kind of seem to have very similar moniker going on with the spectral white horse and the twin revolvers and kind of the whole cowboy aesthetic. That's kind of what's going on here with Marilyn Moonlight. All in all, I could definitely say I could see some of the Catwoman similarities with Marilyn Moonlight, though I think there also is going to be some Batman elements as well, because for the most part, she's pretty much telling Superman he's out of his element, that the night belongs to her, that she is Metropolis's protector, and that he has no place in her city during nighttime hours. It's also implied that she came back not necessarily when the other villains came back, but when Superman was gone after the events of the death of the Justice League in Justice League number 75 that led up to the Dark Crisis event where all of the Justice League was killed off, or, quotey fingers killed off. They weren't really dead, but, neither here nor there. Point of the matter is that she has stepped in where Superman was absent. So I find it interesting that, and maybe I would have noticed this if I read more Superman comics, I feel like I haven't noticed anyone talking about her across any of the various Superman series up to this point. But once again, it's one of those things that's probably very under the radar. Either way, I'm very interested to see how she plays out as a character, because I feel like the last black character, or last black character of significance that was introduced into the Superman mythos was Robinson Goode during the Brian Michael Bendis run, and I kind of feel like that character just went away, which was funny because she was initially put out there as this new mysterious character for Superman and Clark Kent to interact with, and then out of nowhere it was like, oh yeah, by the way, she's a whole ass supervillain. She came and went so fast I actually didn't even remember what her supervillain name was, but I think it was something like Red Cloud or something like that. She was also scared that they kind of played around with her villainy, whether she was a villain or she was actually a good person deep down. And I'm not gonna lie, I didn't stick with her arc through Action Comics, but I will definitely say I hope they don't do the same thing with Marilyn Moonlight. Just let her be whatever it is that she's going to be, and don't play this will they or won't they crap. But anyways, that's everything I really want to talk about with Superman number 2. If you enjoyed this video, do the YouTube thing, like, share, comment, subscribe, and make sure to tap that notification bell so you don't miss out on any videos. We're getting close to 80,000 subscribers, which is well on our way to our goal of 100,000 subscribers for this year, so make sure you hit that big red button. Until next time, let me know what you thought about Superman number 2. Keep it plus ultra and sound off in the comments.